So it was a big crunch game, bottom of the table clash Wednesday against Middlesbrough, and we were desperate to get some points on the board. Wednesday, 5-4-1, Vasquez in goal, back five, Valentin, Bernard, Bernard, Diaby, Firmino and Delgado, midfield four, Buckley, Hendrick, Bannon and Windass, supporting up top, Ashley Fletcher. Changes to the team. Valentin came in at right back. I was really interested to see how he'd perform because I thought he'd look good against Mansfield in League Cup, albeit we went out on penalties. And even though he only had 4 or 5 minutes against Leeds when he come as a sub other week before international break, I thought he looked really lively in that game, so I was interested to see how he'd do. And equally, I was interested to see how Ashley Fletcher would do up top end of pitch, because we have got an ageing strike force, and he is a bit younger and put him centre back a bit. Not the best goals record, but then this season nobody has. So interesting to see how Wednesday would get on. And it was a really positive start. 7 minutes, Valentin gets down right hand side, gets a shot in, and Bannon were getting the ball going. He would in a slightly deeper position, Bannon today, and that forward in midfield, sort of him and Hendrick with Windass and Buckley sort of coming right front of him like that, almost a square at times. But from there, Bannon were able to get his passing going, and it was a really, really positive start from Wednesday. Now on 15 minutes, there was the protest. And I've seen a lot of stuff online since I've got home. It was booed by section at crowd, and that's fair enough. Not everybody agrees on the situation, and I think part of that was because Wednesday had made a really positive start. If it had been the same as last game, we were completely shit. I don't think there would have been any booing about the protest. And I suspected there wouldn't be that many. I said that in the video I did the other day, and there weren't that many. You know, maybe 30 balls, 40 balls, whatever. So I've seen a lot of people saying, well, waste of time. All it's done is show us up. It's a bit tin pot, a few balls land on pitch. But actually, no. Because what it did do is it stopped the play, and obviously the game's been televised to the nation. There's hundreds of thousands of people watching it up and down the country. They've had to stop the game. The commentators will have had to talk about it. Obviously, I haven't heard radio, but I presume if it's been any radio commentary, they will have had to talk about it. Oh, there's been a stop in play. Why is that? There's tennis balls on pitch. Fans aren't happy about the way the club's been run. So people are saying it's a failure. Only a small number of balls on the pitch. But I think it's done its job because it's highlighted to a wider audience that folks aren't happy about what's happened at Wednesday over the last 7 years, whether it's point deductions, getting in trouble with EFL, getting ourselves relegated by things we do off the pitch, not what we do on the pitch, you know. Our points total the other year when we got relegated was enough to keep us up, if it hadn't been for the points deduction, which were nothing to do with the playing staff. So, only a few balls, but enough to stop the game and enough to make it a talking point. And that's what it's about. It's about having your voices heard. So, a lot of people saying it's a failure. I don't think it is. Personally, throwing stuff on the pitch, that's not for me. I won't get involved in all like that. That's not the way I'd go about things. But the people who have done it, I think they've made the point, and I think to an extent it has been a success because it's got the message out there. Also, there was a rumour doing rounds, I don't know if it's true, that stewards have took a banner off somebody, a Chancery out banner. I mean, that's poor form. I can understand maybe if coppers went ploughing into the crowd where its tennis balls come from, because you're not allowed to chuck out a pitch, are you? But taking down somebody's flag or banner, confiscating it, a bit like a fascist state, isn't it? Anyway, the other criticism that's come out of this protest is people have said, and obviously because Wednesday's best start to a game for, well, probably since last season, oh, it's killed all momentum. I don't think it affected Wednesday players at all. It was literally a 2-minute stop in play. Wednesday started really well, and after the protest, they carried on really well. In fact, we carried on attacking and scored a goal. So I don't think it affected players in the slightest. Just a chance to have a drink, if anything. Valentin, he were having Engels on toast, and Wednesday were really pushing on and looking to get a goal. But what you've got to do is you've got to make it count, and when you're having a good spell of pressure, you've got to make it count. As Wednesday were pushing on, Middlesbrough were looking to it as on break. Probably a couple of times when they broke in, there were a cross into the box that somebody said a brilliant defending. I thought it just hit for Mayo, but either way, he got his body in the way, whether it was deliberately or not, and stopped that. And they got a kid on the other side who broke clear quickly. Silvera, I think his name was. He was quite lively for them on counter attack. And Wednesday were playing quite a high line. But we kept going. Windass went off with a clash of legs. He got booked. I don't think he would have booking. Their lads had a loose touch. Windass has got to go for it. If you don't go for that, your manager gives you a bollocking. You know, it's there to be won. It's a 50-50. He goes over their lads' legs. The legs sort of collide, and I think that's dead leg right in top of his thigh. So it'll be a sore one, but I don't think there'll be any serious damage done. So he's limped off. Masaba come on. And a lot of people have been calling for Masaba because he's got pace and he's lively. But actually, when goal comes, he's not had to do that much. All he's had to do is drop off his man, because fantastic play from Bernard. He's got the ball deep, and in that situation, loads of times we see it centre half still just chop one up into the box. But he didn't. He took a couple of strides on, knocked it out wide. And I talked in the last video, the problem with Wednesday's attacking for me is there's not been enough movement. Really good movement. Knocked it out wide to Valentin. Didn't stand about. He thought, hang on. And he's gone for return. Drove onto the byline like a bloody winger. And then he's not just hammered it into the box. He's got his head up. He's had a look across. There's a crowd scene on near post, and he's pulled it back. Masaba just sweeps it into the net. Can I keep it all better? No. Possibly not. I think his eyes drawn with clustered on near post. But Wednesday take the lead, and it's a spell of domination from Wednesday. And all you're thinking then is, can we get a second? If you get that second goal, it changes complexion of the game. We've got a lead, we're attacking well, but you've then got to make it count, finish them off. Now, there's been a lot of talk. What does he say at half time? What's he bloody said at half time? That we've suddenly gone from attacking with some purpose to suddenly being shit. But sometimes I think you've got to look at it and say there's two teams on park, there's two managers, you know, there's a manager in each dugout, and I don't think it's necessarily what Munoz said at half time. I think it's what Carrick said at half time. First half, we're really getting them down our right hand side, really going at them. He's made two positive subs. He's brought his full back off, Engels, because he had to take him off with twisted blood because Valentin were destroying him. He's brought him off, he's swapped his full backs over, and he's moved the kid out there. I want to say Van der Valk. That doesn't seem right somehow. Van der Breck, whatever. Moved him out there, and he's brought this Isaiah Jones onto the right hand side, who's an absolute flyer. And suddenly, from Wednesday doing all attacking down our right hand side, they're doing all attacking down their right hand side. Completely flipped game on its head. Completely flipped game on its head. Two subs, really good subs. They've had a problem defensively in first half. He solved that. Their other problem was they weren't getting forward as much in first half. He solved that. See, he's changed his left back, changed his right winger, and suddenly they look a different team. Momentum spun on its head. So Munoz might not have said out bad at half time. He might have just said to lads, keep doing what you're doing, keep up what you're doing. But you've got to give credit to Carrick. Two fantastic subs. And I mean, last season he were, they've had a really good season. He were best thing since sliced bread, and he were going to be a future England manager. And this season they're at bottom, and it's he's shit. How long's he going to last? He could get sacked after tonight. But I think he's shown himself today to be a decent coach with them two changes. Right wing and left back. And yeah, they are having a bad season, Middlesbrough, but they lost Akpom, they lost Archer. I think that's two players who between them. And they got like nearly 30 goals between them and 20 odd assists. Any team would struggle when you lose two players who've brought that to the table. So, Any manager who loses good players, his team's going to struggle a bit. But what he's done is, he's looked at that first half, Wednesday on top, identified 2 problem areas, he's plugged a gap on one side and give them an outlet on the other. It's great management from Carrick. Sometimes you've got to hold your hands up. Like I said, it's not always about what have we done, what have we failed at. Sometimes you've got to look at opposition players, opposition manager, and remember there's 22 players on park, there's 2 managers in dugouts. Sometimes you've got to give credit and say, oh, they've done really well there. So first half were all Wednesday, and sadly second half, thanks to some good changes from manager Carrick, second half were all them. The warning signs were there. It was straight after the break. There were a ball over the top. As I said, first half Wednesday playing a high line because they were doing a lot of attacking. Straight ball over the top. Not it's not even wedged or wefted or backspin. It's just a dink over the top. And Wednesday caught completely square. That Silvera gets in, and it's a warning shot to Wednesday. And probably 3 minutes after that, they're level. And again, in its attack down that left-hand side, Wednesday's problem left-hand side. A problem for me that's of the manager's making because he's completely overlooking 2 left-footed players who can play those positions out there. But when you look at the stats, it's backed up what you're seeing with your own eyes. They attacked down that right-hand side, something like 50% of all their play went down that wing in the second half. So it's an attack down there. They win a corner. It comes in. I think it's a foul on Mayo. I think that kid's got him, but it starts from Mayo holding him. He's got hold of him. It becomes a wrestling match. And if you're grabbing hold of somebody, they're going to grab hold of you and try and throw you away. And that's what happened for goal. I think it's a foul. But it's because it comes from all this holding. And it's something you didn't used to see in game. You see it everywhere now. You see it in Sunday League, you see it in kids' games, you see it everywhere. All this grappling in box. And nobody's looking at ball. Ball's about to get knocked in and it's all this bit. Could have been. Yes, mark him, yes, keep an eye on him, but there's a stage where the ball's coming in when you've got to think, yeah, I've got my eye on him, but I'm going to forget about him because it's in an area where I've got to go and attack it. But I see it, Premier League, National, everything. All grappling. The number of times you see a cross or a corner or whatever come into the box and bounce because nobody actually goes to attack it because they're all too busy wrestling. So them two are wrestling, he gets chucked away, it is a foul, but if it starts with 6 or 1.5 a dozen or other, referees are sometimes going to have a look at them. Can Vasquez do a bit better? I mean, he goes in underside at bar, bit flat-footed for me. There we go. And they're back in the game. And truthfully, we're coming straight from whistle at the start of the second half. I mean, at one bit, you only ever saw it in like World Cups when South American teams and like Italians were at it, but it's rife now, isn't it? Anyway, Middlesbrough, piling pressure on. The big lad, Coburn, up front. Not really done out. And then suddenly, so the 60 minutes, he suddenly gets into the game and is a little bit in beast mode. Completely muscles Diaby off ball, cuts inside, absolutely smashes shot as hard as he can. But it's one of them, he's done really well to muscle him off ball and get inside. But then as it opens up, you just got to caress his foot round it, and it's probably a dink right round keeper, because there's nobody in where he's got an open position, and he just leathers it wide. So that was another warning shot for Wednesday, and they could have probably took lead. Like I said, first half it would all Wednesday down our right hand side, and the second half it would all Middlesbrough down their right hand side, and suddenly. This is what I talked about with Leeds game. Suddenly we look like we ain't got that energy. Xisco made some subs, same as Carrick had done, but ours were like for like at first. So Byers for Hendrick, Gregory for Fletcher. I mean, Byers, he had a sort of almost instant impact, and but he didn't keep it up. He came on pitch, and I bet he had 7 touches in the first 30 seconds. In, out, 1-2, 1-2, and I thought, he's got bit between teeth. He's obviously chomping about not being in team. And I thought that might give us a bit of momentum and a way back into it. Give us that little bit of sort of rhythm in midfield. But within 2 or 3 minutes of that, Wednesday were turning screw, and Byers looked, sort of as drained as the rest of them. We did get we were brilliant at first half. Now you can say you're brilliant against a team that's bottom at table, they're shit, you should be brilliant against them. But it don't work like that, does it? When you haven't won a game all season, your own confidence is low. So I thought it was a fantastic start Wednesday at first half, albeit against a struggling Middlesbrough team. But we couldn't finish them off. You've got to get that second goal. Second half it were all them. And yet for all it were all them, right at the death, sort of 89 minutes, opportunity, and it's Byers, he gets on, gets his left foot round it. For me, he's got to finish there. Don't test keeper. For me, he's got to finish it. If it's the same opportunity on other side, if you put a mirror up and it's his right foot, I think he kills it in. He's tried to do it, I think he's tried to kill it in there, but he just don't get his left foot round it. I think if it's the other way, I think he's just got that bit more control on the right foot. But in the end, honours even, and I think it was a fair result. Like I said, all us first half, all them second half. Frustrating again. It seems daft to be talking about a 6-pointer at this stage of the season, but that's exactly what it were. But honours even, so everything stays the same. Apart from my bank balance is £2.14 down. It's £2.14 down because Wednesday didn't win. God, if we clung on to a 1-0, I'd have had 100 notes ready for the morning. The rest coming. Leipzig, Barnet, Chesterfield, they all come in Wednesday for 100 notes. For fuck's sake. Anyway, on to Swansea. What's going to happen there? I don't know. A tough, resilient performance against Leeds. I'm not getting too down about it. I'm down about it, but I'm always trying to look at little good bits. You've got to, or you'd depress yourself for life, wouldn't you, following football? An hard-working but ugly display at Leeds that got us a point. First half today, a much better looking performance. And second half, we're all at sea again. God, there was a spell with 5 minutes to go. Backinson pops up as an outside left. And when that's happening, you've got to think to yourself, the pressure is getting such on the manager that he's literally trying out for the last 5-10 minutes. So I point it back, everything stays the same, apart from I'm £2 down. The protest has been made. Like I said, some people think it's a laughing stock, some people think it's been a waste of time. Like I said, chucking balls in for me, but I think it's made the point to the national press. Maybe some of them will pick up on it. Chansiri might be getting the message bit by bit as well. In fact, I think he must have got the message, or he wouldn't have had that banner took down. And Cisco, where does that leave Cisco? So is it 2 points from 21? Worst start to a season since 1999-2000 campaign. It might well be that he's dead man walking. The only thing is our owner's quite stubborn. And if we all say we want him out, the manager, then we'll probably keep him in. But yeah, I think he's probably dead man walking. The other thing is, if you're an owner or a chairman or whatever, and you're coming under pressure from your own fan base, it's put the old Captain America shield on and you get one of them in it, and that shield is usually a manager. And unfortunately, as I said other week, because of the performances and because of the results, I think Cisco's making him seem an easy bloke to chuck under the bus, but not helping him, son. I don't think he's helping him with some selections, I really don't. Who do you get in? I don't know. It won't be as bad. The results have been crap. But you can cope with results if you can see, I keep saying this all the time, if you can see there's a method in it. I'm not sure what we're trying to do. Today was very attacking first half. The Leeds was a very defensive display, and I thought, maybe that's how I was going to do it. But just flim-flamming from one sort of idea to the next. But at least he seemed to have settled on a system now, a formation, albeit an unbalanced one with left-hand side. But I think time will just run out for him. I really do. The one other bit of news was that Lyle Taylor was spotted in the ground, 33-year-old striker, ex-Charlton. I don't think he's played a league game for a calendar year. But he has scored goals. He has scored goals in his career, and top of my shopping list, probably not, but we're shopping at Better Buys, aren't we? I think you've got to take what you can get. If he comes in and adds a little bit to the squad, you take what you can get, Maybe a player like that tonight might have nicked a second goal, 3 points, positive first half performance, and we might all be going happy and thinking, oh yeah, turned a corner. Because if we get a second goal before half time, does Carrick make them changes, them positive changes that he made? Or does he look at it and think, 2-0 down, we don't want it to be a pace team? Does he make defensive changes or shut up shop? So, sliding doors moments, we can just get that second goal. But creating opportunities has been a problem for us all season, and it still were tonight, really. Played really positive football, getting forward, good stuff down the right hand side. But in terms of clear-cut chances, we're still just that yard off. Anyway, I'm not going to show you the table. In fact, I'm going to go to bed. I'm at work in 3 hours. Must be a madman. Anyway, take it easy, and I'll see you for the Swansea game. And try not to get too depressed about things.